Tailspin, one of the better players in North America. So, you know, this map was designed by a pro player for pro players to play on. It's got some interesting stuff. These little speed ramps used to be a little more effective than they are now. You can see tons of rockets actually flying in already at the King as he is the first up to attack in this best of 3 series. We're not quite up to the best of 5s just yet. That is going to start in the semifinal round. So this is purely best of 3, starting off on Breach. I know that in previous casts, Dignitas has picked Breach before, so we'll see if that's going to come into play. You said that Epsilon had actually defeated Dig EU before. Do you think they're going to do it again?
If I had to take a guess right now, I would think that Dignitas is going to take this one 2-1. Just because they've been playing a lot lately. They've been putting in a lot of time. I think they're frustrated that they haven't been able to make it so far. And the King, though, is doing a pretty good job here. He's only down to 7 seconds, though, and he's got 1 hit point left. So now he's going to have to make a move for Frantic before the point. No, he doesn't get it. Frantic takes him out. So nice defense there by Dignitas. It was a little shaky there for a second. The King almost had that round, but not quite.
Do you think, should we stop this game? I saw that Frantic is using a camo skin, but no one seems to be mentioning it.
He is using a little camo skin. You can force
I feel like I don't
to not show player skins, though, so I'm assuming that they all have that set
all right.
in the options.
Well, if they don't make a big deal out of it, we can always suggest that they do that option anyway. So we don't really need to stall them if they're not concerned about it. Kawa attacking in now for Dignitas. He was on that original roster that came to IPL 5 and tried to qualify through the wildcard qualifier, but Fnatic, of course, ended up being the winner there. So Kawa just running around now trying to find his way in through these several defenders. He still has not been able to land a shot.
That was an open shot right there. You just missed.
Yeah, time is already down to the goal being open. He's down to just 1 armor. Things are not looking good for him now.
No, not at all. He's got 5 seconds left. He's going to have to try to capture the point. He's making his way towards it. Ooh, I thought he might have had a decent chance right there, but no. The King takes him out there at the end, and now Cephas is going to be able to try to get a first attacking round in this match here on Breach.
All right, Cephas up to bat for Epsilon. I remember a long time ago, Absolute Legends was the squad that the King, Cephas, and Stern, that S7 fellow, all played together, but they were pretty formidable back then. So, you know, they've only had more time to get better. They've got more to work with now since Beta 2, basically. They've got wall jumps that are able to separate players from another. You know, basically your movement is something that can set you apart. Cephas with a nice little juke and drive there does take out the defender. That's going to be Garpy getting taken out. These maps are just vastly different from what, you know, they used to be as well, with all the design intentions for wall jumps and grapple hooks and speed pads, and fences actually are becoming a very, very important part of all of this. Cephas is going to hop on the goal and somehow avoid death against Frantic there at the very end. So good stuff there from Cephas, getting us started with those attack rounds. Now it's going to be up to Garpy to try and match that feat, but, you know, things are starting pretty slow here for Dignitas.
Yeah, very true, and it should be noted that Dignitas was kind of stacking the left side at the start of the last round, and they were getting some spam. It seems like Dignitas is pretty good at spamming whichever runway the attackers are choosing to go, and, you know, that's something that's you know, can get you an early rocket at the start of the rounds, and that's always good to try to just make the most out of even the start of the round on defense. A lot of the times you won't really see anyone trying to even go for that spam on this map especially, but it's cool to see them to you know, try to get some early free rockets onto the Garpy, though, just getting dominated right there. That's why I was a little distracted by all those rockets flying in Garpy's face. So that was a solid defense right there by Epsilon. Garpy really just couldn't make anything happen, so they did not answer back, and Epsilon now is up by 1 attack round. So maybe we'll see. But see, this is what I mean. Look at all that spam, and it definitely delays the Epsilon attackers quite a bit. So, you know, I think that's just solid defense right there from Dignitas.
That's true. Even if it doesn't actually connect with any rockets, it is going to eat up that clock. It was like 29 or 28 seconds before Xu actually got out of that speed pad. So he did trade 1 defender for 1 armor already. He's in a decent position. Still some time left to try and work a better angle here. Garpy, though, showing himself around this column means that he is a little bit prone to being eliminated. Xu now with only 8 seconds left, is he going to be able to rush on there? He's not going to be able to do what Cephas did, which is hop on the goal long enough to capture it. So Frantic up to bat now for Dignitas. This guy, of course, was on TCM Gaming not too long ago, IPL 5. We saw some shaking and moving afterwards in December when a couple of teams split up. Dignitas got a new squad, actually, with Fantastic and NVC. And Frantic made the move on over to Dignitas EU to basically fill the spot that Zacubus was holding for IPL 5. So TCM Gaming, all those guys landed in different places. Didix and Luxes ended up on Millennium and Fnatic, right?
Fnatic. Luxes went to Fnatic, and Didix is on Kick currently.
Okay, so Didix actually ended up on Kick.
Fnatic's already qualified. Kick is still in this qualifier, so they're all landed on some pretty good teams for sure. Frantic, though, he's looking at he's got a pretty decent position here. He's got 3 armor left. He's only got 7 seconds, so he's going to try to get the capture, but no, it's not working out for him. The King and Cephas were able to defend there pretty easily. But yeah, all the TCM guys have definitely landed on good teams. So, you know, those guys, I guess they just didn't have the chemistry on TCM or something. I think they were a little disappointed at their showing at IPL 5. But now here we got the King working his way up the right side. This is a pretty standard route for these attackers, I think.
Well, going back to TCM, they pulled a big upset actually in the online qualifier just to be able to go to IPL 5, beating a lot of great teams like Millennium and Dignitas and Fnatic to get that second spot. Fnatic and Dignitas actually had to fly out on their own dime to try to qualify at the wildcard qualifier. So TCM really kind of turned some heads in the online competition, and then once they got to IPL 5, things kind of just fell flat. They ended up losing to both Fnatic and Fallen, and I think possibly one of the American teams. So after that, I think TCM, they actually had some turmoil with the team where TCM hadn't contracted them or wasn't supporting them the way that they were supposed to, something like that. And the players actually left of their own will, and now there is no TCM Gaming Shootmania team. So it seems like, you know, their claims were true that TCM maybe didn't have the resources necessary to have a Shootmania team.
Yeah, that's always sad to hear.
Yeah.
But we got Cow. He almost got hit by some of that early spam. Ooh, almost getting hit again right there. But he's going to work his way around. He's going to try to get this defender here at the fence, I think, or at least show himself here so he gets a little scared, and just dodging that rocket just barely again. So Cow still has 3 hit points, but he's got some pretty close rockets that have almost landed on him. And there's another one right there. So he's got to make something happen right now, though. He's kind of just waiting around. He's got 2 defenders in front of him, kind of in the open. Now he's got all 3 of them on the point. He's got 13 seconds left. He still needs to land at least 1 shot here if he wants to take this round, unless he can make a miracle happen. But no, Xu finishes him off pretty easily there. And now we have Cephas to try to get a second attacking round for his team. He already has 1. And he only has 1 defensive rocket, but that doesn't really matter.
Well, this is going to win the game for them potentially.
That's going to win them the game, and they haven't even let 1 Dignitas player get an attack round, so it doesn't really matter. If your team's not letting them get any attack rounds, then it doesn't really matter how the rockets are divvied up. It only starts to matter really when you're getting attack rounds against you, is when your rockets should you know, start to grow. But Cephas, though, taking out one of the defenders pretty quickly right there. Down to 1 armor now, though. He's got 7 seconds before the points open.
Yep, Cephas had an early little benefit taking out the first defender from just 4 meters, but then just could not really figure out where to go after that. The King actually is, you know, picking up the slack there where Cephas is kind of lacking. He seems to always land 2 of those 3 rockets when they end up getting eliminated at the very end. He's just really good at dodging lasers, I think, and, you know, persisting until the end. So the King definitely benefiting this team Epsilon on defense, and I'm noticing this defensive position in the very back here is one that our North American teams were just not doing.
Yeah,
this spot up here, it seems to be very distracting, though. Garpy just ran all the way over there to try and take care of business, and of course he gets dragged into Xu territory as well. Now we've got Cephas actually rotating up because he was basically useless up on that back corner while this was going on. Garpy gonna swing and a miss. Looked like he had him lined up, but now time is ticking down. He's only got 1 armor left, 3 defenders still standing. He takes out one of them with a great shot, actually, but cannot juke long enough to stay alive. So Epsilon's still on top, 6-4. That single attacking round could end up being the difference.
Yeah, it's getting down to the wire here. They need to make something happen. Garpy just wasn't able to land any of those lasers there. He had a few open shots, but he just wasn't able to capitalize. And now we got X2. He's going to try to extend the lead here for Epsilon. Making his way up towards the middle. Going to see maybe if he can pick off that guy at the fence right there with a... Ooh, it gets mid-aired, though, by Kawa. So nice shot right there by Kawa. X2's going to just kind of hang out over at the point. They're going to have to rotate towards him eventually. But no, he's actually going back to this guy at the elbow. He's not able to make anything happen. So nice movement there on defense. Oh, but he gets caught. Kawa gets caught in the open, but he lands 2 nice rockets there at the end. So X2 is not able to make anything happen right there.
He finally baited him out of that fence there and paid for it. Basically, Kawa was ready for him, keeping his eye on him the whole time. Frantic attacking now for Dignitas. He is the guy we mentioned earlier, that is a former TCM gaming player. Now with Dignitas EU, I would say that he's found some success, but honestly, they haven't qualified yet. This is the 3rd EU qualifier, and they're down in this game. So really, Dignitas EU has a really, really great squad, but they just have not been able to piece together the results yet. Frantic already taking out 1 defender, moving around now. This is that back column, I think, that Xu started on. Now he's rotated up toward the goal. That would have been an amazing shot.
Yeah, that was
if
barely
he had,
missed right there.
Hit that slight blue speck, but Cephas back at the point. Xu still standing as well. The King is already eliminated. There's Xu down. Frantic has 6 seconds to either shoot that laser or capture that goal, and he does nab the laser. Was that through the pole? It looked like it.
It was close, but he got hit by a rocket like right after he landed that shot. And something to say about the Dignitas EU guys, when they first formed, they were actually playing really well. They were taking some tournaments. I think they took our weekly cup, actually. I think they got first place. But, you know, they kind of dropped off a little bit. I don't know if that's because they weren't playing as much or what, but now they've actually tied it up here. So this is going to turn out to be a probably pretty good series. And now we got the King. See if he can make something happen. Gets hit by that nice little spam there from Kawa. And now he's getting kind of rushed down a little bit by Kawa, too. But no, Kawa's going to take some cover over there. The King is going to move towards the point. Time's ticking down. He's going to see if he can try to isolate this guy over on the left side, but no, that he had a nice rotate back onto the point, missing that open shot onto Garpy, so it's looking like he's not in a good position right now. The pole is now open. He's going to make his way towards it, missing another open shot onto Garpy, and all 3 of the defenders are just camping at that pole. It's going to be hard for the King to make this happen.
Yeah, it's pretty much a sunk ship there because, you know, just even if you get hit by 1 rocket, it's going to bounce you back. He only had 1 armor left, so it was pretty much done after the, say, 10 seconds remaining. It's just not enough time to land 3 lasers or break through that. So Kawa attacking now, still has not had an attack round. Actually, only Frantic and Cephas have been able to capture attack rounds at all this game. Looks like Kawa is seen there by Xu all the way across from that gate. Oh, look at that, the King landing a long shot from the top right corner. Kawa doesn't really know where to go now. This map breach is kind of interesting because there are a few areas that you can be blind to all the defenders. You can hide in this big network of basically high walls because all the defenders are in spots that just can't see over there. This fence that Kawa is working around now doesn't have great vision across the map. Kawa down to just 1 armor now is in that same position we just saw, where it's basically impossible to break that shell. And you know, some people say that Breach is just way too hard for its hackers. Others have said that it's got enough variety to make it viable. So really it might just be the player's creativity and accuracy because, in my opinion, if you get to the goal quickly, they basically have to respond to it. They can't shoot at you from that back right corner. They can't shoot at you from this L fence. It creates situations where your laser is going to be able to dish you out of that situation if you get there first. But it seems like, you know, a lot of players just get distracted by these defenders at the fence because they want to try to win that duel. While it's still 1v1, the fact is that it's never 1v1 because the other 2 defenders always know exactly where you're at and can just lob rockets at you. You're at a disadvantage. So
yeah, they're going to be lobbing that spam at you, definitely.
It's just tough to make that decision. Do you try to dance with the guy at the fence that clearly sees you, or do you just blow past him and try to force them to move to you? So it really depends how much trust you have in your own shot.
Yeah.
Oh man, swung right into it.
Yeah, getting a mid-air right there. So nice prediction by X2. But yeah, these these guys have a pretty interesting defensive setup. They're playing two guys over on the left. Who Garpy missing that one by 2 centimeters. So that would have been nice for him if he landed that, but no. He's only down to 10 seconds before the pole's open too, but he's going to be able to catch some of these defenders in the open at least a little bit as time ticks down. But he doesn't really capitalize on that. They did a good job rotating.
This is exactly what I was talking about, though, because now I think he had a great shot there.
That was very close.
Because he just basically went to the goal, forgot about trying to duel with the guy or whatever. He knew where all 3 defenders were and had them on and in his vision. So getting to the goal quickly there gave him a really good chance. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to land enough shots or stay on the goal long enough. But Xu coming up now. We are officially in extra rounds. This elite rule set is basically to 1st to 9, but you must win by 2. And the only way you can win by 2 is by having more successful attack rounds than the opposing team. And right now, both of them are stuck at 1. Xu going to try and break that trend if he can. He's already down to 2 armor and a kind of a tough spot again. Players just getting distracted by those defenders just because they see them. It makes it really, really difficult to use your time wisely when you're staring the guy down and trying to basically force him out of position. Yeah,
it's easy for the defender to play in a fence spot just because they can see through the fence, and they can just make it almost pretty much always so they're not peeking, and they can just shoot rockets around the corner, and just really delay the attackers. And Frantic is looking like he was going to go over there and try to do the same thing, but
he didn't want to get pegged in midair. He already saw the rockets get launched, so that was basically a good idea to just let go and fall down, not risk getting shot by the prediction rockets of Xu. Who's still playing that position.
Yeah, do they have 3 players over there? Yes, I think they do.
All 3.
All 3 playing over at near the spawn pretty much. And that's going to be interesting.
Nice shot.
Frantic catches one of them rotating already, and there's another one in the open right there. Cephas, he misses that shot, but he lands another one onto the king, so it's going to be a one-on-one here. 2 armor left. The pole's open. There's 10 seconds left.
This is for
Frantic
the game.
needs to make something happen. If he wins this round, they do win this first game. Frantic's going towards the point. 5 seconds left, and he lands the shot. So good job by Frantic there. He got 2 attack rounds for Dignitas, and they take the first map 10-8.
It's almost as if they were listening to me when I said stop getting distracted, because Garpy went and did it his next attack round. Frantic went and did the same thing, and Epsilon played right into it. For some reason, they had all 3 defenders along the left side. They didn't even use the top right corner anymore.
Yeah, that was very weird. Setup.
It basically let Frantic get to one spot and have all of them in front of him. So it just seemed kind of weird. We are going to go to a quick 2-minute break. We'll be back on the other side with game number 2 between Dignitas EU and Epsilon.